Good afternoon, everybody. Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, 1980, Milwaukee at Oakland. It is Fall Classic Baseball, and it's Reggie Cleveland at Brian Kingman. We are in the bottom of the fourth inning. Nobody out. Dwayne Murphy at the plate. And both pitchers are C pitchers, so you get an idea. I love the fact that you got a roll to see before the game. That also is going to dictate a lot of your management style. And you have to be a little kind of have that quick hook with the C pitcher, whereas with the A pitcher, you can push him a little bit longer. So that makes it a little bit more realistic when you see that the pitcher. And so you have to really be, conscious of, hey, he doesn't have his best stuff, so he starts getting into trouble. You're going to have to, implement that quick hook. This is an aspect of a game that's an aspect of baseball that's missing in almost every tabletop game. I think there's one other game that attempts to do that, and that's Status Pro Advanced. I think they have a role for the pitcher stuff at the beginning, but it is not as fine-tuned as it is in this game. So let's do this. Dwayne, the score is 1-0 Milwaukee. We're in the bottom of the fourth, and it's Reggie Cleveland with the pitch. So we're going to read the green, then we're going to read the yellow. This is our Athletics Billy Ball replay. It's a 64, so that's a blank on Murphy. We're going to go to C. It's going to be an out. The 3 tells us it's a ground ball. He's a lefty, so it's bounced to the first baseman. Cooper's going to flip to Cleveland for out number 1. Next is Dave Revering. He bats from the left side. Here's the pitch from Cleveland. It's a 64. And so we know that's an out, and a 6 is going to be ripped to short, and Romero gloves it. Long throw to first, and in time to get Revering. That's 2 down, and here's Wayne Gross. Reggie Cleveland checks the sign and winds and deals a 21. That's going to be an out. And the 13, he is a lefty, and that is a hard hit ball pulled down the line. And, nice play by Cooper. Cooper back on his feet, steps on the bag, and that retires the side. Cecil Cooper with a nice play at first base on a hard hit ground ball down the line. So, yep. All right. So here we're in the top of the 5th inning. It's going to be, who's up now? It's going to be Gantner. I don't know why Gantner's not there. Ready to roll. Hold on. Where is Gantner? It's weird. And all these are hard to manage because they're brand new. I just printed them out. All these Milwaukee Brewers. There he is. Jim Gantner's up. And after Gantner, it will be Romero. All right. And here goes. And that's a 12. Pitch from Brian Kingman. That will be a bouncer to first base. Another lefty. Chopping down at the ball. And played by Revering for out number 1. Revering is a strong-armed first baseman, which means that he's gotten lots of extra double plays that you wouldn't get if you're an average arm or a weak arm, which is another cool aspect of this game and how he gauges that. I guess he goes by double plays. If you turn a large number of double plays, you'll be granted a strong arm, and so on and so forth. I'm not exactly sure how he does that. Could be go by how many outs and assists you pick up during the season. He has his recipe. I just picked up in the sale 2 for $3. I picked up 71, 83, and 99. Don't know how many games I'll play, but I have those. Romero. 5. It's 1 out here in the 5th inning. It's 1-0 Milwaukee, and that's going to be a 13. That's going to be an out, and a 19 is Sky to right. Armors has it in his sights and hauls it in. And here's the top of the order, Charlie Moore. Brian Kingman with the pitch, and that's a 32. 32 is a blank. 32 is Brian Kingman is also a C column, and that 11 is going to be a little nubber in front of the plate. Pouncing on it is Newman. Newman fires the first, and they just get Charlie Moore at first, and we go to the bottom of the fifth. Reggie Cleveland's ERA is 3.09. He's a 2-0 record. Tony Armas is up, batting .273 with 13 home runs. That's a strikeout. Armas heads back to the bench with the bat on his shoulders. And Mike Davis is up with a 42. That's going to be a blank, and a 42 is going to be a ball 4. So Cleveland loses him, and Davis is on at first. He's an average runner. Newman is not a good hit and run guy. He's a good bunter, but with one out, we're going to swing away. Yep. Now, that's a potential defensive check, 51, 52, 53. That is too high for a KD. A KD would be just 1. That would make it. That would override the defensive check and make it a strikeout. So we're going to roll, and an 18 is going to be above and beyond anyone's error rating. If you got an error rating that high, you should definitely. The right fielder probably has a very low error rating. That's 6 to Lezcano out there. So the ball is hit to Lezcano. And I usually have a chart. Let me see if I printed out the chart. Let's see if I have the Brewers chart. I printed out all the charts. I don't think I ever printed out the Brewer chart. Let's see. Nope, never got to the Brewer chart. Love it. So I'm just going to check Lezcano in the pack, his arm, his range, actually his error. His error rating is a 5, so it's very, very low, and we rolled 18, so that's a ball that Lezcano gets to and puts it away. And here's Mario Guerrero. That's a 31, and that's going to be a base hit. Mike Davis will stop at second. So first to second, a ground ball that gets through the left side. Ogilvy gets it in quickly to Romero. And there's 2 out and 2 on for the Athletics. Here's Dave McCalin, 9th place batter. We're in the bottom of the 5th. 2 outs, 1-0 Milwaukee. And that's going to be a 51. That's another error check. Again, that is too high for the KD, so we're going to roll again. It's a ball that's hit to third base. And, that's going to be bobbled. And let's see what happens. Bando is at third base, and Bando's error rating is a 10, so that is definitely going to be an error. What does it say? It says third base error, 1 base error. So everybody's safe. It's an E5. Second error of the day for the Brewers, and now it's Henderson. There he is. All right. So first, the base is loaded. Henderson at the plate, and it's Reggie Cleveland. And we're going to have the pitching coach go out to talk to Cleveland. All right, so this is the situation. The bases are loaded for the Athletics in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's a 1-0 Milwaukee lead, and it's Reggie Cleveland on the mound facing Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson bats from the right side, so we are going to let Cleveland face this one last batter. If he fails to get Henderson, we got a bunch of lefties coming up, and we're going to go to the bullpen and call on Bob McClure. He's a lefty, and he's definitely available for the Milwaukee Brewers. So let's do this and get ready to roll. That's a snake eyes, and that's going to be on a roll of a 1. It's a single. Anything else is going to be a base on balls. That will force in a run, and the game is tied. That will be it for Cleveland. He gets pulled. Murphy, the lefty's coming up, and here comes Bob McClure. Now, we haven't rolled for Bob McClure, and I could do that because that would help me make decisions, because really I can see his stuff. I can see how he's doing, how the movement on his pitches, his velocity and all that, and my bullpen coach would tell me what's going on with the pitcher. Does he have his best stuff or not? So that's just something that I did want to mention. So I would know that beforehand, but I already had this. I wanted McClure, the lefty, to face all my lefties that I have coming up here. Hopefully, I don't allow any more runs, and we continue this game we keep this game as a close tie, a 1-1 tie. So let's roll and see where McClure is. Remember, 1-6 is an A, 7-14 is a B, and 15-20 is a C. He will be a 13, so that will be a B. So I'm going to write that down. So McClure comes in. He's a lefty. Yep, that's a B. McClure comes in as a B. And let's see what happens. All right, so it's going to be Dwayne Murphy with the bases loaded against Bob McClure. Here's a pitch, and that's a 62, which is normally an out, and it will be a 1-12, a strikeout, a 20. So it's a line out to 2 would be the first baseman. So he hits it on the nose, but right at Cooper, who makes the catch, and that retires the side. But the A's pick up a run. They tie it up at 1 apiece, and we go to the top of the 6th inning. Sal Bando leading off. Remember him? He's from the A's 70s teams, but now he finishes his career with the Brewers, I believe. That's a 12. That's an out, and that's going to be a bouncer to the shortstop. Waits back now. Charges, fires the first on the run, and gets Bando. All right, so here's Cecil Cooper up now. He bats from the left side. Cooper's having a great season. He's batting .359. Here's a pitch, and that is a 12, and that's line base hit to right for Cooper. Yeah, we're continuing this game, and we are in the top of the 6th inning with 1 out. Up is Gorman Thomas. He's facing Brian Kingman. So let's roll 2d6 and the d20, and that's a 56 on Gorman Thomas. That's a blank. On Brian Kingman's C column, that's a K. So he swings and misses at a Kingman curveball. And here's Ben Ogilvy. Let's look at the box score quickly. And Ogilvy today is 0 for 2. And it's Lascano, who's 1 for 2 after him on deck. So here's Brian Kingman. And that's a 63. That's a blank. And on Kingman, that's going to be a ground ball to the first baseman, picked up by Revering, and that will retire the side. So they leave 1, and we move on to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's Bob McClure pitching now. He relieved Reggie Cleveland. All right, Dave Revering. That's a snake eyes, and that's going to be an out. It's going to be a fly ball, center field. Gorman Thomas over, and he makes the catch. I'm going to bring in some pinch hitters since we got a lefty going here now. We're going to bring in some righties. We're going to bring in Mike Heath. And then Mike Heath will stay into play. No, you know what? We're going to bring in Mickey Klutz. Mickey Klutz will bat for Wayne Gross, and he will stay in to play third base. All right, here's a pitch, and that is a 25, and that's lined against a lefty. Look, it works out perfectly with the splits. Lined versus a left-handed thrower, it's a single. So rips one to left center, cut off by Thomas. He gets it into Romero at short. And we got 1 out with 1 on. So my managerial brilliance shines once again. And here comes Tony Armas. And that is a 34. 34 is a blank. And McClure, we said, was a B. So that's going to be an out. A fly ball. Left it to right. Lascano and Thomas converge, and it's Lascano for out number 2. And here's Mike Davis. He's bats lefty. I should pinch hit for him, really, and I will. I haven't looked at the roll yet, but I will pinch hit for him. And we're going to bring in Essien to pinch hit for him. All right, and that's going to be a 41. 41 will be a base on ball, so Essien walks. And here is Mike Newman. Hello, Newman. 2 outs. 2 on. Here's a pitch from McClure. That's a 56, and that's a blank, and that's strike 3. And that retires the side. Going to the top of the 7th inning. Sixto Lezcano leading off again. And we're going to have to make that. We're going to bring in, was that Klutz at third base. And that's it. All right. So here's a pitch to Lezcano. That's a 61, a blank, and that's a K. So he swings and misses at a high fastball. Lezcano goes down swinging. Here is Mark Brohard. And that's a 41, which should be a base on balls, and it is. He takes ball 4, trots down to first base with a runner on first. Remember, this is a 1-1 ball game here in the top of the 7th inning. And Brian Kingman's given us everything we could want and more, so we're going to have a quick hook on him. He is a C. Here's Jim Gantner. Now, Gantner is a hit and run A. So we're going to roll. And there goes the runner, and that's a 64. It's a 10, ground to third base. Runner will advance. There's only one play for Klutz, and that's the first. So it's a 5-3. Runner moves to second. He's in scoring position. And here comes Ed Romero. We're going to pinch hit for Ed Romero, and it's going to be Robin Yount. And then he'll stay in to play shortstop. I'm using actual lineups. I don't totally know why Robin Yount wasn't in the original starting lineup. Just maybe they rested him today because it was a tough righty, Brian Kingman. But I mean, Romero's a righty as well. I don't really know, but he's available to me. It's on the roster. So he is on the roster. So I'm just gonna bring him in as a pinch hitter and then put him at shortstop. And at shortstop, he's got an average arm. He's got a pretty high error rating, and he's got a decent range. Picks up 50% of the balls, so a little bit over 50% of the balls that are hit to him. That are outside of his that are tough plays. He gets to about 55% of the tough plays. That's the way I should say it. All right. So let's do this. So let's roll for Brian Kingman with a runner on second base and 2 outs. The score is tied at 1 apiece. And that's going to be a 62. That's going to work in Kingman's favor. 1 Tate is a strikeout, but it's a 20, so that's line to the... He's a righty, line to third base, and caught by Klutz, and that ends the inning. So Klutz with a nice catch off a line drive by pinch hitter Robin Yount, and Robin Yount stays in at short. Excuse me. And it's going to be Mario Guerrero here against McClure. Now McClure can go. Let's see what it says. He can go 11 batters. Let's see how many he's faced so far. McClure has faced 6, so he can go a little bit longer. Maybe 2 innings longer. We'll see how it happens. See how he does. So it's Mario Guerrero steps to the box. On the season, he's batting .231. In reality, he batted .239 at first pitch, and that's going to be a 51. It's going to be a KD check. Remember, 51, 52, and 53 are going to be error check numbers. 53 is a range check. That 9 is going to be too high for McClure. It's 1 to 2 to wipe out the error check and make it a strikeout. So we're going to roll, and I'm going to pull a fast action card to see who it's going to be second base error. And 18, that's way too high, so it's a ball that's hit up the middle, and Gantner gets there, sets his feet, throws the first, 1 out. Jim Gantner showing his range, flashing a little bit of the leather. And Dave McKay. McKay batting .289, batted .244, but he's been steadily coming down. He started the season, and he's at .500. He's like, 3 for 6. Doesn't play very often. It's a 51. It's another error check. And at a 10, it's going to be too high for the KD. We're going to roll. That 13 is going to be, it's a bouncer to third base, and third baseman is Bando. Bando at third base is a 10 error, but we have a 13, so he's pretty high error rating over there at third. He started to play a little bit less third base, started to do a little bit more DHing, I believe, by 1980. But he does get to this, scoops it, and throws over to first for out number 2, and here comes Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson's batting .322. He was a 300 hitter, .303 in reality. And here's a pitch from McClure, 52. That's a third error check in a row. 52, he rolled 2 51s and then a 52. And Bob McClure's KD check is 1 to 2. We roll a 3. So we're going to have to re-roll that. And the 52 is going to say who is the ball hit to. It is hit to second base. So it's bounced at the second baseman, Gantner. Let's see if he can play it. And I believe he does. Gantner is an error at second base. He is a 3 error rating, so he will get to that easily. And quickly has to release the ball to get Henderson to retire the side. All right, we go to the top of the 8th inning. Brian Kingman's still in there. And against Charlie Moore. Remember, Brian Kingman's a C, so I have a short leash on him. Quick hook on him today, but he hasn't needed it. He really gotten into very little trouble. But we'll see what happens. That's a 51. And for Kingman, that's going to be a 1 to 2 KD check. So that's above the KD check. So we're going to have to pull a defensive check again. I think that's the 4th roll. The 4th, I rolled 2 51s, a 52, and now a 51 again. That's going to be to third base. Mickey Klutz. Let's roll. And the 12 is going to be too high for an error. I can almost guarantee it. And his error rating is a 7. So it's a nice backhand by Klutz. Long throw to first in time to get Moore. Moore, by the way, is slow. So he didn't score a lot of runs, although he's in a leadoff spot, which is pretty unusual. So here's Sal Bando. Sal Bando hit 5 home runs in 254 bats, 78 games. Here's a pitch, and that's a 35. 35 is a blank, and 35 is line. Base hit to left. And Henderson plays it on hop. So that's the second time, the third hit for Bando today. I think he's got 3 singles. Let me double check that. Yes, he does. He's 3 for 4 today. So Bando's on at first, and he's an average runner, so he's okay. We don't have to pinch run for him. Cecil Cooper's up, and he's a good hit and run guy, so we're going to try a hit and run here. And there goes Bando, and he swings in 40. That's a 9, and a 9 is going to be a pop-up to shortstop. But if you're a hit and run grade A, which Cooper is, it's going to be ground ball to second base, and runner will move up. So the hit and run works. It avoids the double play and allows the runner to move up to second base. So we got the go-ahead run in a 1-1 game here in the top of the 8th inning with 2 outs. And Billy Martin showing a lot of trust in Brian Kingman, a lot of confidence in Kingman's ability to get out of this tough inning. Here comes Gorman Thomas, a 239 hitter, 38 home runs. So he's got power up the wazoo. And hopefully doesn't get a hold of a Brian Kingman fastball or any kind of pitch. So let's do it. And here's the pitch, and that is a 41, which is ball 4, and this may be it for Kingman. Again, like I explained, we're going to have a short leash on any C pitcher. I'm going to have a short leash on them, and we are going to go to the bullpen almost for sure. Ben Ogilvy, the lefty's coming up, so we're going to bring in Lacey, Bob Lacey. So Kingman gets a nice round of applause from the hometown crowd, and we are bringing in Bob Lacey. And as you can see, these are PDFs, and I buy PDFs and then I write on them. I got little notes and things like that on them. So we don't know what Bob Lacey is going to be. We're going to roll him right now, and he will be a B. So Lacey is a B pitcher. He is a lefty facing Ogilvy, another lefty. So we may get a pinch hitter for Ogilvy. Let's see, what position is Ogilvy playing today? Ogilvy is playing left field, so we're going to let him bat, because I don't know. I'm going to just let him bat. All right, lefty on lefty. Ogilvy versus Bob Lacey here in the top of the 8th inning. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. And here's a pitch, and that's a 31, which is trouble. That's going to be a hard hit ground ball up the middle, and nobody's going to get to that. That's going to get picked up by Murphy in center, and with a runner on second, a weak arm, he has so a weak arm would advance and score, but Murphy's arm is an average arm, so there's a risk involved here, which means an average arm risk is a 1 to 3, he is out, and a 4 to 6, he is safe. And with 2 outs, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that risk, and there's going to be a play at the plate against Bando. And here's the throw from Murphy, the tag by the catcher Newman, and he is out at the plate. So Murphy picks up an assist, and it's going to go 8-2. And they cut down Bando trying to score to end the inning. All right, so that was an exciting play, and let's get that. It's a single, and then runner will be thrown out at the plate, 8-2. And again, because there were 2 outs, I tried it. And if there hadn't been any 2 outs, I would have held up. All right, so we go to the bottom of the 8th inning in a 1-1 ball game. Bob McClure is still in there. And here goes. Pitch to Dwayne Murphy, the left-hander. That's a 13. 13 is a 1-6 base on ball, but it's an 8, so that's going to be sky to center, shallow center. In comes Thomas. 1 down. And we're going to get a pinch hitter for Revering. And it's going to be, let's see, Mike Heath. What does Mike Heath play here? Can Mike Heath play first base? No. Randy Elliott? No. So I'm not going to be able to hit for, unless I put Newman at first and Mike Heath at catcher. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch him around a little bit. All right, so that's what I'll do. So Heath is going to come in here to pinch hit for the lefty Revering. And here's a pitch from Bob McClure to Mike Heath, and that's a 22, and then it's going to be a fly out to right field. Lascano on the run and near the line, and tracks it down for out number 2. And here's Mickey Klutz. Pitch from McClure, a 51. That's going to be a check. We're going to roll. It's an error check. And a 5 is pretty low, and that's going to be on the third baseman. That will be an error on Bando. I believe that's Bando's second error of the game. It's an E5. Flashes on the scoreboard, and it's a 2-out base runner. Here comes Tony Armas, who's got a ton of power. Leads the team in home runs, hit 35 home runs. He's at 13. We're about halfway, a little bit less than halfway through the season. And it's a 26, and that's going to be against a lefty. That's going to be line base hit. And let me just check if I had to switch McClure. McClure, that was his 12th batter faced, and he can go 11. So he was still good until this batter, I believe. No, he faced 12 batters, because has he faced Armas yet? This may be his 12th batter. So we're going to just grant him so wait a second, what does it say? It says he's faced 12 batters. Okay, so then he's going to be he can go 11, and his 11th batter is the one who got a hit. This is his 12th batter, so he's still okay. And if he allows a hit, the following, beyond his batters faced, if he allows a hit or a walk, of course, he will become shelled, which is not pretty. So he is now shelled because this is going to be a base hit single. And the runner will hold at second base. And that's it for McClure. We're going to the bullpen, and it's going to be Castro coming in. All right, so it's going to be Castro. Let's find him. Bill Castro, there he is. And we're going to have to roll to see what kind of stuff he has. He will be facing the righty Essien. Castro will have, he's had his ace stuff. Yeah, let's plug the let's plug in the camera real quick. There we go. right. And that doesn't look very good, does it? Let me fix this real quick here. All right, solution. Okay, so it's going to be Essien and Bill Castro. He's going to have his A stuff. And runners on first and second with 2 outs. And let's see what happens. So here's a pitch from Castro. That's going to be a 16, which will be a fly ball to left field. Ogilvy in left center field overcomes Thomas, but Ogilvy takes it, and that retires the side. So Castro comes in, and now we have to make some moves here. We're going to put Newman at first base, and then the catcher now is going to be Heath. All right, we got everybody in place. And Lacy is still out there in the top of the 9th in a 1-1 ball game. He's going to be facing Sixto Lezcano. Bob Lacy, we said, was a B. I write those down. And that's a 61, and that will be a strikeout. So Lezcano goes down chasing a curveball. And next up is Brohard. And that's a 36. A 36 is a blank, and the 36 will be a fly to right. Antonio Armas puts it away for out number 2. And next is Jim Gantner. That's a 63 and a blank. And that's going to be a 63 is an out. It's a bouncer to first. Right there is Newman, steps on the bag, and that retires the side. So Gantner bounces out to the first baseman to end the inning. No runs, no hits. Go to the bottom of the 9th. We're 3 outs away from free baseball. Here's Jeff Newman with a 52. That's a KD check. That fails. And a 15 is going to be way too high for an error. There we go. All right, sorry. 52 is a bouncer to second. That's played cleanly by Gantner, and he throws out. Gantner's error rating at second base is 3, so he doesn't commit many errors. Next up is Mario Guerrero with a 62, a blank, and Castro. That will be a line out to the third baseman. So Guerrero hits it on the screws, but right at Bando, and Bando snags it for out number 2. And here's Dave McKay, 9th man in the order. Pitch from Castro with a 22, and that will be a 1 is a single, but an 8 is going to be strike 3, and he strikes him out to end the inning. All right, free baseball time. We're in the top of the 10th. Robin Yount leading it off. He came in to pinch hit and stayed in at short. That's a 63, and that will be a fly ball right field. Backing up is Armas, and Armas makes the catch. Charlie Moore, top of the order. And a 42, that will be 1-2 is a ball 4, but we rolled a 5, so that will be a bounce to the third. Picked up by Klutz, throw to first in time. 2 down. And here's Sal Bando with a 24, and that will be a 1-2 hit by pitch, but we rolled a 4, so he bounces one up the middle. McKay gets to it, plants his feet, throws out Bando. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 10th. We got Ricky. Tricky Ricky. Ricky's batting 321. He actually batted 303, so it's a few points higher than that. It's a 64. That's going to be a hard hit ground ball right at Gantner. Fields it cleanly and throws out Henderson. And it's a 55, and that's a drive in the gap. And after this, Loscano, will he get there? No, it drops in. He cuts it off. And Murphy around first, thinking about second base, changes his mind and quickly dives in back to first base. So it's a single for Murphy here with 1 out in the bottom of the 10th inning. Loscano looked like he was going to get to that ball, but then at the last minute, backed off it. Didn't want it to go by him, so it keeps Murphy at first base. And Murphy on this one, though, has a plus sign, so that means he can try to steal a base. We're going to use whatever we roll to 16. There he goes, the throw down from Moore. And unless Moore has a terrible arm, which he does, and he has an average arm, and he is out at second base. So just like that. This is Billy Ball A, so they do get thrown out quite often trying to steal. So it's a 2-4, caught stealing. And here's Mike Heath now with 2 outs. And that's a 63. That's a blank, and that will be a bouncer to the shortstop. Yount in the hole, long throw, and gets Heath at first. All right, here's Cecil Cooper coming up. Bob Lacey's still in there. Remember, Bob Lacey can face 10 batters. And I let him go the limit. Remember, this is 1980. Lacey has faced 7 batters. He's got a ways to go. He's had 2 really good innings. Here's a pitch. It's a 66. That's always trouble, and that's a deep drive off the bat of Lacey to right field. Back goes Armas to the track, to the wall, looks up, and that's out of here. 2-1, Brewers. And that's Cecil Cooper. Cecil Cooper connects with his 10th home run of the season. And the Brewers are up 2-1. Nobody out. All right, gets high fives in the dugout, and it's Gorman Thomas with a 65. That's usually a pitcher home run, and we're on the B column 1-11, and that's a deep drive off the bat of Gorman Thomas, way back center field. Back goes Murphy to the track, to the wall, looks up, and that's gone. Back to back taters by Cecil Cooper and Gorman Thomas, and here comes Ben Oglivie. Pitch from Lacey, and that is a 55. That's going to be, oh boy, look at that. Oglivie hit 41 home runs, by the way, and that's a deep drive. And way back right field, back goes Armas, looks up, and that's gone. So you just experienced back-to-back home runs. Wow. So these guys have the bats, that's for sure. This is the 1980 Brewers. Holy smokes. So Cecil Cooper, Gorman Thomas, and Ben Oglivie go yard against Bob Lacey, and that's going to be it for Lacey. I'm going to bring in Jones. Mr. Jones. All right, so it's going to be Jeff Jones coming in. And we're going to roll for Jones, see what he's at. He's going to be an A pitcher. An A stuff. He's bringing the A stuff today. What a game this is. Wow. All right. So back-to-back Jacks. You don't see that very often. First time that's happened to me in a long time. All right, so it's Loscano now. Let's see if we can go one more. That's going to be a snake eyes, and that's going to be ripped down the line. And Klutz with a nice play at third. Long throw to first, and out number 1. So they finally retire the first batter. And here's Brogard. That's a 31, and that's going to be a pop-up. A 12 is a pop-up to, he's a righty, so that's going to be pop-up to right to Newman at first. Calls for it, and he makes the catch. And out of the top of the order. Oh no, still Gantner. Jim Gantner's batting. There he is. Jim Gantner with 2 outs and nobody on. That's a 21, and that's going to be a fly ball to right. Armas in the gap, and Armas chases it down to retire the side. We move to the bottom of the 11th. It was back-to-back jacks by Cecil Cooper, Gorman Thomas, and Ben Oglivie. And the Brewers lead here in the bottom of the 11th by a score of 4-1. And it's going to be Mickey Klutz leading off against Bill Castro. It's a 44, and that is ripped to center field for a base hit. So Klutz singles, he's on at first. One on, nobody out. Here is Tony Armas, and he's got good, then that's going to be a 51. That's going to be a 3. A 3 will just miss the KD check. So, that's going to be an error. Who's it going to be on? It's going to be shortstop exotic error. This is interesting. So exotic errors are errors that are a little bit more unusual than your standard error, which is kind of cool. Those come up every so often. Those you do have to look up. So exotic error at shortstop with a runner on first. And that's real bad throw to second base. Runner on to third. He scores if right fielder makes a bad throw home. Roll D20 versus the error rating after the throw, batter to third. Okay. Let's see. Let's roll on Lezcano. We're only going to check if it's really low, and that may be an error by Lezcano. Hold on a second. And 6 Lezcano has a 5, so that will be an error rating. And then batter to third. So it's going to be an error on the shortstop. This is an interesting play. So there's going to be an error on the shortstop. We got to double check that. I never looked at Yount. Yount is a 9 error rating, so it will be an error on Yount. And that will let the runner go to third. And then the batter, we're going to let him go to second. But now there's another error on the same play. 2 errors on the same play. So this is, so that's what we're going to, this is interesting. This is a hard one to figure out. This is a hard one to figure out because I don't know that the system allows me to input 2 errors on one play. Let's see there, we're going to see, no, it does not let me do that. So it's 2 errors on one play. And you know what, we're just going to solve it by giving Yount a 3-base error. We're going to give Yount a 3-base error because there's no way I can do this. Let me go and look at rare plays. Let me see if there's anything like this in rare play. Pick off, strikeout, pass ball, game call, no. And there's no way to do 2 errors. There's a single plus error, there's an error plus. No way of doing 2 errors on one play. So I'm going to have to give a 3-base error to the shortstop and let the runner score on that and batter to third on that. So 3-base error, and it's 4-2 now. So Essien is up. And here is the pitch to Essien. Armas is at third, there's nobody out. That looks like a 23, and a 23 will be a bouncer to second. And I'm pretty sure a run will score here. Bouncer to second, runner on third, yep. If the infield was in, he would have held, but otherwise he advances. He does advance. Okay. So now it's a 4-3 ball game with 1 out. And up comes Jeff Newman. Hello, Newman. Bill Castro against Jeff Newman in a 4-3 ball game here in the bottom of the 11th with 1 out and nobody on. Here's a pitch, and it's a 54. We're going to check that. Tells me to go to the Wilder chart. Look for the Wilder chart. Next card. Wilder chart says bases empty, foul pop behind the plate, catcher fighting it, D20 versus a Z rating. We're ready to roll that 3. So it will, no, it won't be an error. So he will make the catch. So Moore with a nice catch near the stands. It's a foul out to the catcher. And here comes Guerrero. And this is the Athletics are down to their final out in a 4-3 game here in the bottom of the 11th inning. It's Castro on the mound against Mario Guerrero. Guerrero today is 1 for 4, batting .229. And here's a pitch, and that's going to be a snake eyes Guerrero, and that will be an out. Bouncer to third, actually to short. Shortstop picks it up, throws it first. Ball game over. So a great ball game. Castro gets the win. Lacey gets the loss. The Brewers are 41-24. The Athletics are 37-31. Milwaukee with 4 runs, 9 hits, 4 errors, including the back-to-back jacks in the top of the 11th. Athletics with 3 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. And that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the presentation of Fall Classic Baseball. I find it's easy to play, fun, and it's got a lot of unique situations. Now again, my the stat keeper that I have would not allow me to input 2 errors in one play, so I'll have to go onto the forum and ask about that, see how that could be done. It's not a big deal. I just didn't give Loscano an error, and I could always go in there and change it and add an error to him, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. That's really a scorekeeper type thing anyway. So I don't worry about those. The scorekeeper said it's one error, and that's on the shortstop. End of story. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It was a great game, and it's going to be next. It's going to be Bill Travers against Rick Langford. So that ought to be fun. And tune in. Take care, guys.